Welcome to the Kee To Growth Podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you're in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success, starting now.
Hey friends, it's Jen McKee, your host of the Kee To Growth Podcast. If you're a home service leader who's ready for bigger growth, stronger leadership, and more visibility in 2026, listen up. I'm hosting something brand new. The Growth Experience is a powerful 2-day conference happening right here in my hometown of San Antonio, Texas. This event is designed for you if you are an owner or leader who wants to scale smarter with profit-first financial clarity, stronger leadership and sales systems, real operational efficiency, how to use AI tools, and of course, modern marketing visibility that actually works. You're going to learn from incredible speakers, connect with the brightest minds in the trades, and walk away with strategies you can use immediately in your business. VIP spots will even get full content capture experience in two deep dive workshops on confidence, leadership, and storytelling. Tickets officially go on sale January 8th if you have saved your seat on the waitlist. Waitlist gets first access, best pricing, and early VIP access. So go to thegrowth-experience.com to get on the list. Trust me, this is a room you're going to want to be in. March 30th through April 1st, 2026 in San Antonio, Texas. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Kee To Growth Podcast. I am your host, Jen McKee, and today I am live at Epic in Las Vegas, 2026. I'm super excited about today's guest. I feel like I literally have the exclusive interview that everyone's been begging for, that I finally got my hands on. Today, I have Dustin Vetter of Fast Air Repair. Dustin, if people aren't the ones begging for the interview, let them know who you are.
I'm Dustin Vetter. We've got a growing, I want to say small, but it's grown over the last couple of years, heating and air conditioning company about an hour north of Orlando, Florida. And we're here. Jen's been trying to get me to do a podcast for a long time, and you know the stage fright, and I want to do a podcast, and now I want to share my story. I owe it to her. She's been great for our business, helped us scale tremendously. I think when we hired Jen, we were at about $2.3 or $2.4 million. We closed out 2025 at $11 million.
And that's why you're on this podcast, to tell everyone how you did it.
Yes. So, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, but the most important thing, I think, is trying to control the journey through the funnel.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
All the business happens at the bottom of the funnel.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody is fighting for those leads, for the install leads, for all of that stuff. And we learned that if we can control that journey through the funnel, start at the top of the funnel, and by the time it gets to the bottom of the funnel, they're already going to choose us.
Yeah.
So that's been a really big fan.
I love that. Okay, we're going to get super deep in, but I want you to start off with it. How did you get started? What was your beginning of the journey to you decided to start Fast Air?
So I knew you were going to ask this, because I know this is a short podcast. So I'll give you the
long story short,
the cheap short, the version. So I've got a checkered past. Been in and out of trouble most of my 20s. I never would have guessed that. And 30s, and spent a lot of time incarcerated. I finally got out the last time in July of 2015. No job, nowhere to go.
I love that you said the last time, because you're not going back.
No, I'm not going back. And I was virtually homeless. I learned air conditioning in prison. That's where I learned it, So I got out, and I was blessed. I found somebody to give me a job.
Yeah.
And I worked for them for almost 6 years, and then COVID happened, and husband and wife had split up, and she ended up with the business, and I said, "Hey, let's scale this business. Let's take it to another level." And she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could really do is take the Florida contractor's exam, and by the grace of God, I got my license. And that's where the journey started.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started off, it was just you.
It was just me for about the first 8 months, working 7 days a week, trying to get leads, social media. Hey, who's a good air conditioning guy? And, it'd be me at 9 o'clock at night. I can be there in 30 minutes, no charge, right? I'm not even going to charge you for a service call. And that's kind of how we built it. And I realized after about 8 months, I said, this is crazy. I need to hire some help.
Yeah.
So we hired some help and did a little bit of marketing, not much with, $200 or $300 Facebook ad. And we'd get a couple leads off of it.
Yeah.
But what I learned is, well, if I spent $300 and got 3 leads, if I spent $600, I would get 6 or 7 leads, right?
Yeah.
And I said, wow, this is scalable.
Okay. When did Jen come into the picture?
So Jen and I, right after I got out of prison, we got together.
And so she was a nurse.
She was a nurse.
When did she get into this?
She got in, so about 9 months in, I was doing it all, answering the phones, everything. And I said, hey, can you help me? And she said, sure. So she worked for Fast Air for about 6 months. And she said, you are too much. And she said, I'm going back to nursing, right? So we hired another CSR, which was great. Mary, and she's still with us now. Yeah. She's our permit coordinator. And then Jen, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, she said, I can probably work with you again. So she came back to the office, and thank God she did. She's got all the HR compliant for us.
Okay, cool.
And she's a badass.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be where we are today without her.
We love you guys. So, okay. So you started off, you always looked at social media as a viable lead source, although you were doing it through Facebook groups. I know a lot of people look for the easy button with Facebook groups, and there are some good resources out there for looking at them. I think that when we talk to people about what you've done and why Facebook works for you, you said one of the things, which is, and you spend more money there. So but you guys have a dedicated person whose job is Facebook leads. Is that right?
That you're exactly, yes.
And it was Jen. I know it was when we first started working with y'all.
It still is Jen and Facebook leads. And you have access to our Facebook.
Y'all get a ton of messages.
Yeah, 7, 8, 10, 12 leads an hour.
Yeah.
That come in.
Yeah.
Without the content that you guys put out there.
Yeah.
You guys are the best in the business.
Thank you.
And I mean that, and I'm not saying that because we're on a podcast and you're recording. You guys.
Somebody cut that out.
You guys
put it up somewhere.
Truly are the best, though. And that's why, at the beginning, I was probably a pain in the ass. But as time going on, I'm like, man, I'm just going to let them work. They're badasses.
You were never a pain.
Yeah.
But I think that where people struggle, and so I wonder, okay, y'all have had some incredible growth over the last 2 years.
Yes.
And there were some things that you did that I think have really impacted that. So marketing wise, what did you guys do?
So the biggest hit, of course, is social media.
Yeah.
People want to know who they're doing business with. Most people out there doom scroll at night, right? Or, they get it. that's everybody. I don't care if you're 20 or 65, everybody is. I don't care where you go. It doesn't matter. People are on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's where the eyeballs are.
That's where they're at. So we knew that's where we have to be at. And I'm not that good at getting there. And you know that.
You're not even really on your social, which I think is interesting as far as our strategy goes.
Yeah, it's different than I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
I like to portray our technicians. They're the ones that are going to interact with the customers out there. I don't care if I'm ever on there, right?
Yeah.
Because rarely am I going to be in a customer's home.
Right.
So let's have the people that are going in the homes, let's have them on Facebook.
So what you told me a story one time that I tell people sometimes because I think it's a good story about about how important branding is. So y'all did a rebrand a year ago?
I think February of about exactly 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've been working with y'all for a long time then.
Way before the rebrand.
That's been 2 years.
Yeah.
But, and you were getting leads off of social media before the rebrand.
We were.
The rebrand, what we found is when you have a really strong brand, it helps that stickiness so much. And so you told me that you were at a gas station and someone was like, oh, I see you guys all over TikTok. And I think that's such a funny story because you were not actually in any of those videos.
No, and we were 50 miles from home at one of my daughter's soccer games in a market that we didn't even cover. And the lady, I had a work shirt on, and she said, "Hey, I see you guys on TikTok." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so awesome."
Right.
But it hit me afterwards. I was like, they're not even in our service area. So we need to be in this service area. Right. So it wasn't the next day we're listed on our LSA and our Google business page. So we're going into this market, right? Because they're already getting there.
Yeah. But I also think like that's why people are so important in your content. You guys have always done a really good job of that. You have Tyler here today, who's always been a great social media person for us. Yeah. But I also think, and I know you want to get into this more, but I think that one of the reasons y'all's social is so successful is because you've always been really bought into it. So you, even though you're not in the videos, you're still like leading the strategy, like that this idea that this is what we do.
And you know, at the beginning, I had all these great ideas of what I thought it should be, and maybe those ideas weren't that great. So as time goes on, I step back a little bit, and you kind of let you guys, you know, give us ideas, and you know, because I'm going to tell you, you guys are pros. Your ideas are trump mine. You know, I used to think mine were great. And then I realized that, hey, dummy, just take a back seat and just do what they say.
Yeah. No. Okay. But so what else do you think really impacted that success? So you guys invested in social media, you invested in your branding. What else happened in those 2 years?
I don't know if there's any singular thing that
there's no silver bullet.
You know, there's not. And you know, the first couple of years I looked for that silver bullet. Yeah, I was thinking, hey, if I spend more on pay-per-click, I'm just going to grow my business. And I realized that lead cost is, it's crazy. It's nice to have it in your mix, but it can't be the primary mix. You'll go broke.
Right. Seriously.
So, but I don't know if there's any singular thing other than having a good marketing mix.
Yeah.
And then just throwing more money in each bucket.
Yeah.
And then just have, you know, a scalable process in the business.
Right.
Key Heart Marketing specializes in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to build your brand awareness or drive leads using social media ads. If you're ready to elevate your social media, go to keyheartmarketing.com or follow us on social media.
We can see through your social media how important your culture is in your team. Like, how did you become the leader of this team? Especially, say, you know, you learned how to do this in prison. And so most people would probably look at you and underestimate what you would be capable of in growing a business. So how did you really figure that part out of it?
So I never really wanted to be a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of those things that you could never find somewhere where I wanted to work. So it was one of those that said, well, let me see if I can create it. What's the worst that's going to happen? I just go back and work for somebody else.
Yeah.
But and I truly mean this. I'm a C player. I know I am, but I'm really good at getting A players to work with us.
Yeah.
And putting those people in the right seat.
Yeah.
And we switch people. You know, we may hire somebody for one role and realize, hey, they would be really, really, really good in this other role. Let's try them there. Where other companies would say, no, that's your role. That's what I hired you for. And we try and see the potential.
That's so cool.
And we don't, we do see the potential, but that's maybe what helps us scale too.
Yeah.
It's always revolving.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys spend time at conferences. So you're always like trying to, I know you do some other things too. What else do you do? Like investing in your leadership and business skills?
Well, I have to invest a lot of time because I don't know business.
Yeah.
I really don't. So 3 or 4 hours a day, typically at night, or even in the morning. I get up, 5 or 5:30 every morning, and I'll spend, an hour and a half trying to learn maybe accounting practices or what will happen if my gross profit per man day if I do this, or what will happen if I put another crew on the road, what happens to my overhead. And I didn't know any of that stuff 2 years ago,
so
right?
Good.
So, but I knew in order to build a badass team, right, that I had to learn that stuff, because at the end of the day, we've got 60 miles before,
Right.
or 90, I mean, we have a lot of people there now.
Yeah.
So
I know. That's so good. I mean, this podcast is the Kee To Growth Podcast. We're having the Growth Experience Conference, and it's all about people who, like, none of us know how to do business when we start, for the most part. So, like, you either figure it out or you just, like, don't figure it out and end up struggling a lot because you haven't put in the time or energy to figure it out.
And the more time goes on, the more I realize the less I know.
Right.
When you start out, you think, oh, I got this figured out. And as time goes on, I'm like, man, I'm really a dumbass, right?
It gets more complex.
It does.
What are some things you think, I mean, you guys went, if I remember, you went from 4 to 11 million in 2025.
So we went 2021, we a little bit shy of $800,000. 2022, we hired a few people and 3x that to 2.4. And then we hired you towards the end of that. And it was like an immediate 50% growth at 3.7. And then we really, really turned it on with you guys as far as getting you content.
And the ads.
We went from 3.7 to $7 million that year.
That's awesome.
And that's directly from social media. There's no other that was our best return on ad spend.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you guys definitely do a great job. And I do think that it comes down to your creative, meaning like the videos and pictures that we're using. I think it's also the follow-up that you guys have in place, the ad spend that you're doing. And then I think you have a good reputation in the community.
We do have a good reputation. And that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is, a lot of people as they scale, they only want revenue and they don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
That it's people over profits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when you guys do some testimonials and you do some content in people's homes, how do your techs have that conversation with the homeowner?
So we're blessed. We have some super, super awesome and personable technicians.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll just ask, hey, do you mind if we shoot a little bit of content? We have Malik that comes in sometimes 2 days a week, but typically 1 day a week.
A person who videos for them sometimes.
Yep. So we have, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
We actually met him at a car lot and we bought a couple cars from him. And then he said, hey, I'm going to start shooting content for this car lot. Would it be okay if I came and shot content for you guys?
Yeah.
And initially started out, he would come in 1 day a week and he said, I just want to do it for you guys. He said, I believe in what you're doing. And
Cool.
Finally it was like, Malika, I got to start paying you, right?
Yeah.
And which thank God, because he's been gold.
Yeah, it's helpful for sure. Okay, so you said that, and you've said it a couple of times that your team is like the most important thing. Yes. So what do you mean whenever you say that?
We have a certain, and labor board is probably going to come get me, but we have a certain kind of employee that we're looking for in the field, right?
Yeah.
You got to be personable. You have to have those soft skills. We can teach the technical stuff.
That's true.
Right? And we know that you can't teach the soft skills.
Right.
So that's more important to us than the technical ability.
So you're looking for like good personality over HVAC technician.
Absolutely, because we can teach that. We can teach all the technical stuff. The soft skills, you can't teach that.
That's so interesting.
And that, 5-star customer service. You can have a really, really good technician that is not a people person. And nobody wants him back in the home, even though he fixed it. It was great. It's running great. They're like, that guy's really dry.
That's so true. What are some good like resources that y'all use or like technology that you guys, what are the secrets to like your follow-up system? Not just with Facebook ads, but like reviews and outstanding invoices. I know you guys moved from one FSM to another one throughout this time.
Yeah, and we did is with growth, we went from exactly right from House Call Pro to Service Titan, which has been great. I mean, it's not end all be all, but it works really well for us now. But getting back to that, the outbound, we're still old school.
Okay.
We do a lot of CSRs. We'll do a lot of outbounding. Sometimes we use some automated texts that go out. We find that sometimes people don't want that. Sometimes we still do it.
So somebody was like in your position at the beginning and they were starting off and they were looking to grow. I think that you're kind of like me and you'll make investments in things before like a bookkeeper might tell you it's okay to make an investment in it. And so when should someone invest in their branding? When should somebody invest in hiring a marketing company? I know you guys work with a couple different marketing companies other than us.
So I think branding, had I known what I know now, I would have invested in branding as soon as I could afford it.
Right.
'Cause, once you have a strong brand, the organic side of it is actually really, really good.
Right.
And then social media. That's the second thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the Google paid ads that can come down the road.
Right.
But cost effective is definitely content.
Yeah. A website is important for sure.
A website for sure is.
Oh, I think one of the hesitations that people have around branding is that it's not just the branding, it's the trucks and it's the uniforms and it's like everything that comes along with it.
It's a major expense.
Yeah.
Worth it though. But you have to, it all goes back to pricing. Most people have no idea. They're using a model that some guy at the supply house taught them, say, hey, this is how you need to price. And then they teach somebody else, hey, this is a strategy, and find out that they don't have enough money left in the bucket to do anything.
Okay, that is such a key thing because as a business owner, when you start your business and it's just you don't have to consider all of these other costs. Right. And so, when did you learn that and how did you figure that part out?
Well, I was probably the cheapest guy in town.
Towing really broke, and then you're like...
Well, you're exactly right. You're working 80 hours a week, and then you look at your bank and it'll be like, I should have a lot of money.
Right.
And you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's really, somebody finally taught me, said, hey, this is how you need to price. And I said, there's no way you can't do that in my market. They're not going to pay that. And they said...
He has an older market. So people with older markets a lot of times put limitations around what's possible.
You're exactly right. And I said, that's never going to work here. And the guy said, try it for 2 weeks. If it doesn't work, go back to your way and not make any money. And we tried it. It worked fantastic. Even the technician said, well, how do I tell them from 12,000 to 18,000? I said, you move your lips instead of saying 12,000, you say 18,000.
Yeah.
And they said, holy shit, that works.
Yeah.
I said, it was that easy, wasn't it? And they said, yeah, there was no pushback.
Right.
So I said, well, let's start doing 22,000 and now we can pay for more marketing. And, I never would have believed that our market, just like most markets, can bear way more people than what people think. It can bear a lot.
That's so interesting. I love that thought. So anytime that we have anyone on the Kee To Growth podcast, we always ask the same question of our guests, and that question is, what is the key to growth?
The key to growth is, as a business owner, is being able to get out of the way, empower your people to make decisions, right? I very, very rarely have much to do with the different departments anymore.
Yeah.
We empower them. If they make a bad decision, we learn from it, we pivot and keep moving forward. That's the key to our growth.
Yeah.
Is me getting out of the way and saying, hey, I've got some badass people.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them rock and roll.
I love that. We've come to the end of our show here. I'm really appreciate you doing this. And I know it's distracting. There's literally people walking around us all around. But if people want to connect with you, where should they go?
I'm still pretty basic. Probably just Dustin Vetter at Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm easy. I'm sure if you look me up, whoever's watching this, we probably have 80 mutual friends.
Right. Could already be friends.
Yeah.
Dustin's great to follow. You're so inspirational. I love it. Just seeing your story online. So
thank you for having me, Jen.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.